Hello, my name is Christopher Gottlieb. I'm better known as Gotter. I like drawing demons, and this March I challenged myself to draw a demon every day of the month. Some of them are inspired by bad habits or parts of myself that I'd like to improve. Some are simply quick designs. I've done this once before, a couple of years back, and I just found that it was really helpful for me to take some of these things that I don't like about myself and kind of meditate on them as I draw them, but also ending up with a visual representation of them, because that just makes it easier for some reason for me to recognize when I'm performing some of this behavior and to stop myself from doing it. Kind of recognizing, oh wait, it's that demon. I gotta stop that. So throughout this video, I'll take you on a quick tour through all 31 drawings, and maybe you'll probably get to know me a bit better. But hopefully you'll also learn a few things too, or get inspired by my work or my thoughts. Either way, I'm all for it. Let's get going. The first drawing that's on the screen is of my phone, because I want to use my phone to become inspired and motivated to become a better person. I use it to listen to podcasts or watch motivational videos on YouTube, stuff like that. But I also have to admit to myself that my phone is probably the biggest portal for demons to just seep into my life and corrupt my daily routine with bad habits. And I end up spending way too much time on my phone, doom scrolling, looking at all kinds of stuff, and I really should just stop. So this is the first one. Kind of the portal for all of the rest of the demons throughout this video. Yeah, on the second day I just had one of those days where it was really tough to get up from the couch and actually start getting things done. You know this. It's getting started is always the hardest part. But I just took that feeling and then I used that as a springboard to get started on my drawing, right? So I drew that feeling, and then magically I had started my day then, and I could actually start getting things done. So it worked. It was great. On the third, yeah, I don't have a lot of impulse control when it comes to candy or sweet stuff in general. And the thing is, I've been living with my parents for the entire winter, because my wife and I are building a house on an empty plot of land. And so in the summer we're living in this a camping caravan, but it's too cold in the winter. So we lived with my parents this winter, and I've gotten a lot better at controlling my sugar intake, because I can just decide what to buy and what not to buy, right? But when I live in a house where I don't decide what goes into the house, it's a lot more difficult. So I had to kind of deal with that during this entire winter, and that kind of culminated here in March. On the 4th, I was thinking about the way that I consume media, because I have this hungry monkey brain that wants to take in information, but also I'm kind of blinded to the leech that's kind of bitten into my neck and is consuming me, right? Which is YouTube and Reddit, all of these things that kind of hog your attention. The 5th, this is kind of a weird one. I just moved back out into the caravan, and I was a bit aimless and uncertain of what to draw that day, and I realized that lack of direction and intent can also be a demon in itself. So I just kind of loosely drew some stuff and then didn't know what was going on, and this kind of came out. Now, I don't think this is good in any sense of the word, but that's fine. that's fine, because it's a demon, and you can learn you can learn as much from bad drawings as you can from good ones. This one was fun. You probably know this feeling if you're an artist, right? This feeling that like there's no one's gonna see my art. Like, why am I even making it if no one's gonna see it? Am I really doing this for myself? Should I just stop? Right. But that's defeatist of you, and I don't think you should be thinking those thoughts, right? If you don't believe in yourself, who will, right? I think we just gotta like clench your teeth and then get through it. Yeah, on the 7th, this one's a bit different. I was just thinking about my stubbornness, because I'm a bit stubborn, and like my unwillingness to change sometimes, which is funny because this entire month was about trying to change myself. Yeah, and I kind of linked that to some like toxic masculinity vibes, but then also in the like flower chair. It was weird. I had just been to the aquarium that day as well, so there's that. Yeah, vanity first on the 8th. I'm not very good at using my biking helmet when I ride my bike, and I don't even care that much about looking cool. But I thought maybe if I portray myself at some like stupid extreme, that might kind of push me to become a bit more reasonable. Spoiler alert, it's now the 11th of April and I still haven't worn my biking helmet, so I'll probably have to do this again next month. No, next year, I meant. Yeah, the 9th, just struggling with like the ink brush pen. Not very satisfied about this one. Skulls on the chest strap kind of turned out cool though. Yeah, on the 10th, this demon is the one that cuts all of my social ties with my friends once I get tired of like a sport or hobby or other activity, because I tend to like get a very like close and small friend group, and we're kind of gathered around this activity, and then I have a tendency to, after a couple of years, I kind of get bored of it, or I move on to something else, and then for some reason I have a hard time like keeping in touch with my friends, even though I'm still very thankful for them, and for them being in my life. And I feel like I can't come up with excuses for some reason. It's weird. Anyway, I hope I don't move on from art. I've been doing this for 5 years now, so probably not. The 11th, this one's just like this stupid monkey man who refuses to lower his standard, even though he's walking alone, no one's with him, and he's like walking through a blizzard. It would be a really good time to kind of lower his standards, but he won't. This one was really fun to do. I love this drawing. It represents this crippling impatience I sometimes have, that pushes me to kind of try to finish this drawing as quickly as I can. And ironically, I managed to draw this in a very patient and meditative state, right? Which I think always produces better results, at least for me. I can't believe how many times I've looked at drawings like this one that I was patient with them and I spent a lot of time on them. And they work as evidence that it's better to slow down when I draw. And then I still get impatient. I don't know why. The 13th, I tend to lean a bit heavily on inspiration and relief of boredom by like always having music or podcasts playing watching YouTube, reading books. I basically never let my mind rest, I think. Not never, but rarely. And I realized that might be a mistake, because like if I'm always filling my head with other people's thoughts, when am I having my own thoughts, right? So I think maybe I should be more bored sometimes, or at least more often, and just kind of let creativity flow from that, right? Because I think if you've experimented with just like not touching your like devices and all of that kind of stuff and just letting yourself be bored, sometimes like that's when the best ideas come to you. So I want to do that more. Yeah, this is just Trump. This was in the context of Trump wanting to annex Greenland, but then also asking Denmark for eggs because of the American egg shortages. I waste way too many thoughts on that dude. Yeah, and my posture isn't always great. This is probably what I'll look like in like 20 years if I don't improve it. So let's see. This dude doesn't want people to touch him. And this is on the 17th. So this is on my birthday. I just turned 28. And I went back to, for this one, I just went back to redraw like a demonic figure that I've kind of caught on to and I've been drawing a couple of times. This one here that I spent a bit longer on a couple of years back. So really like that dude. On the 18th, I don't normally eat at Burger King, but on this day I was waiting for my mechanic to fix my car and I needed some warm place to sit for a couple of hours. So I drew the shop from life with like people in it, and then I added this sad demon dude at the end, who's, I think you might be seeing like a bearded pattern of some of these demons looking like me, and I think it's to better kind of mirror myself in them and remind myself this is what I'm gonna become if I keep doing this. This one doesn't have a lot of like philosophical meaning behind it. I just tried to draw some of my like work equipment from memory. For those that don't know me, I work as a respiratory caregiver, meaning I take care of someone who uses a ventilator to help them breathe through a tracheostomy, which is it's a tube that you insert in their neck, and then all of this equipment are things that I kind of challenge myself to draw from memory. Hands on the 20th. I sometimes feel like my hands have a life of their own, and I find that frustrating, probably even infuriating. But really, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, right? I think we have a tendency to take all of the blame for bad drawings and all of the credit for the good ones. And I really think there's unconscious factors at play, right? I think sometimes, because you can just like let go and let your hands do the drawing, and then 15 minutes later you did something and you didn't even think about it, right? So really maybe we shouldn't be taking all of the credit, all of the blame for our drawings. Yeah, I think I'd be a lot more relaxed if I didn't take all of that responsibility upon myself. On the 21st, yeah, so it turns out I keep getting these big, deep pimples on the left side of my face, and I found out that it's because I sit like this when I draw. so I gotta stop that. On the 22nd, those are just intrusive thoughts. I had a bit of a hard day and a tough time coming up with something to draw, because I kept getting interrupted by this little fucker. So I just drew him instead. The next day, on the 23rd, I drew this after I just heard the book. I heard about the book titled Merchants of Attention, and kind of read the synopsis for it, and I thought it sounded like a cool idea and very in line with like my ideas about technology. But the result didn't turn out very well. That was a bad drawing day for me. 24th, a hothead. I gotta stay calm. I'm pretty good at being calm, but I like to be a bit more accepting and forgiving when I'm driving around in traffic, because sometimes I get a bit annoyed. This one's called Tunnel Vision, which is about tunnel vision. On the 26th, this one was fun. This one's about hesitation and doubting yourself, because I think, and I'm using digital as an example here, because that's one of the things that I've been hesitant about getting into. I've tried to get into it like 20 times or something like that, and I draw a bit, and then I get off of it because it annoys me, and also the results aren't always as good as I want them to be. But I think this lack of confidence and just willingness to suck at something new for a while, it really stunts my growth, right? You should always suck at the things you're doing, because if you always suck at the things you're doing, then you're working on the things where you can improve yourself, right? If you're working inside of your comfort zone, I'm not getting anywhere. Yeah, on the 27th, digital went a lot better for me. It's just me being in denial about my own mortality. I think it's very easy to hear about people who have died recently and then just not think about how you're also going to die at some point. Just keep like that thought at bay. And honestly, I think I'd spend my time on Earth a lot more consciously if I just kept reminding myself about the fact that I'm going to die. Or in this case, that I'm already rotting just very slowly. 28th. It's a green gorilla demon. I don't know, man. I had a long day. And this is just some weird many-eyed spore mushroom dude. This one, on the 30th, I had a ton of fun with this one, and as you can see, it's probably the one I spent the most time on. Try to kind of get back into digital. In retrospect, it turned out a bit messy, but I had fun with it. It's inspired by this unicorn tattoo that I've been working on for a friend for almost 3 years now, and I keep like getting into it, and I draw like, I'd say I get like 80 to 90% finished in like a day, and then I never finish like the last 10%, because I put it off for like a month or two, and then I open it back up and I go, that's not good enough, and I redo, and then again I stop at 80 to 90%, and then I put it off for a while, and I've been doing that for 3 years now. So I really gotta finish things. And the 31st, final one. I tried to just hit a bit of like a mix of emotions, of an angry set of eyes and a sad set of eyes. In retrospect, didn't convey the emotions as clearly as I wanted to, but I had a lot of fun with that. I like the shapes. And that's it. I got out of this March with just a ton of insight about myself, and I'm almost halfway through April now, and I can feel the difference. And just I'm being more aware about the things that I want to improve, and I am improving at a lot of those things. And also, I pushed back into digital, which was nice. So this is just my first video, and I don't expect that anyone will even have clicked on this video, let alone have listened through all of it and are listening right now. But if you're one of those people, I'd really like you to just leave a comment to let me know that you watched all of it. That would be fucking cool. But also, I wasn't very good at drawing like 5 years ago. I started drawing every day, and I've been doing that for 5 years now. So if you enjoyed hearing some of my reflections about art, I've definitely got a lot more thoughts like that, and thoughts about like keeping up like the daily habit that I'd like to share. So if you're into that sort of stuff, feel free to like and subscribe. Yeah, thanks for sticking with me to the end. See you next time.